Treefort Music Fest is back. That means over 400 artists are taking over downtown Boise, Idaho for nearly a week starting March 26th through the 30th. Headliners include Sophie Tucker, Remy Wolf, Shaky Graves, Bright Eyes, Amel and the Sniffers, and so much more. 5-day GA passes start at $366, and you'll want to grab them now because prices are going up on March 1st. There's also single day or main stage only passes and a bunch of other combinations and packages, including hotel and fort badges, which can all be found at treefortmusicfest.com/tickets. That's treefortmusicfest.com/tickets. Today on CityCast Portland, it's all of our top picks for the month of March in food, entertainment, and everything in between. Joining me on the show are CityCast Director of Digital Strategy, Brian Vance, and our very own Senior Producer, Julia Fiaioni. It's Thursday, February 27th. I'm Claudia Meza, and this is what Portland's talking about. Happy March, everyone. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hey.
Well, this is actually airing on February 27th. So for anyone listening in February, happy almost March. Don't crash your car. You did not black out for 2 days. I've had friends, you guys, literally yell at me for confusing them with an early monthly guide drop. Because, I always start off with happy whatever month.
Right.
Yeah.
And they'll text me, they're like, what day is it, Claudia?
It is amazing how many people don't know what day it is as they move through the world. And I get it because it's you're not staring at a calendar in most people's jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you have a general sense of a new month, right? But when it drops, you're just I'm sorry, what month are we? So I feel like we need to start warning people when we drop these a little early because we're kind,
I think that's fair.
Don't want to cause trauma.
We don't, no. So Brian, Julia, thank you for joining me. Brian, this is your first monthly guide with us, right?
I know, yeah.
Woo-hoo.
I'm really honored to be here. I'm filling in for John. The fifth Beatle is popping in to take someone's spot. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, John is just getting back from moving. He did this super smart thing, actually, which is he took time to move, which I don't think many of us ever do.
I always try to cram it in after work or something, and then it's stressful.
The most functional adult thing you can really do. He's not even here, but he's already dropped another genius life hack, and I just have to say the king of hack continues.
Yeah, his reign is undefeated.
Okay. If you're new to the show, our monthly guides are something we started doing here at CityCast Portland to feel just a bit more connected to our city because it's so easy to get stuck in a routine, not know what day it is, and forget about all the cool things that happen around you. So hopefully after you listen to today's show, you'll walk away with some new ideas for how to have the best March possible. So let's jump right in. Who wants to go first? Julia?
Me.
All right.
I'm excited to go first. So I'm going to plug the Portland Winterhawks for your month of March. So if you don't know who the Portland Winterhawks are, it's our junior ice hockey team. They've been around since 1976. And juniors, yeah. So the junior league is a really competitive league for players ages 15 through 20.
Oh,
so they're quite young, but they are very competitive because they're folks that are hoping to actually play in the NHL. So it's a bunch of super, super intense young hockey players playing at Memorial Veterans Coliseum. I just went a few weeks ago, and I've been a few times now since I've moved to Portland, and I have such a good time every time I go. Granted, I am originally from Toronto, and I grew up watching hockey of all different levels, so this is kind of like a super homey environment for me, but it really is such a nice time. Last time I was there, it was Pride Night, and they went all out and they had this big old parade on the ice. It was so sweet. They have different Pride themed merch. But the coolest thing about where it's located, it's right next to the Moda Center, and there's a transit center right there. So you can really get in and out of that Coliseum area, not having to worry about parking at all, just by taking the MAX or the bus line. So it's such a little sweet evening activity to do, kind of just on a whim. A lot of people are sleeping on the Winterhawks, though. So
it is so fun.
Yeah, it's so much fun. So Brian, you've been.
I went to my first one earlier this season, and so Claudia, you mentioned they're kids. Their hormones are raging, so they fight like crazy. They are just.
Wow.
I've never seen so many fights. It was just fight after fight after fight after fight. They got their ass kicked at the game I went to, but they were fighting so hard. And it's just, minor league sports are just way more fun to actually like witness in person because they're goofy. Like they just do weird things like that parade you were talking about. Like,
yeah, that's the sweetest thing about it. And also their regular season ends at the end of March, and it looks like they're competing about like mid-level right now. So I don't know if the playoffs are in question at this point. So definitely get out there if you're interested in going.
What about you, Brian?
Well, I am a very amateur photographer, and I like to go join literally every Instagram person on the planet in going down to the waterfront and taking photos of the cherry blossoms each spring, and they're back. You know, Portland is a beautiful city in the spring, and one of the cool things in Portland is the cherry blossoms that we have at Tom McCall Waterfront Park, but not just there. You can go up to the Japanese garden. There's a bunch of really cool cherry blossoms. One of the like coolest things to do in, you know, late February to mid-March is to just like walk around neighborhoods and see people who have just these like majestic cherry blossom trees and just have fun with it. Like when the petals are all, you know, bright pink and starting to fall is like, I don't know, it feels like something out of like a Disney movie or something. That's very weird to say, but it really does. It feels wild. And yeah, it's just fun to like pop out on some random street and see a bunch of these cherry blossoms and like 15 people taking photos for Instagram, like every time without fail.
I feel like last year was the first time I actually went downtown on purpose.
Yeah.
Just to see the cherry blossoms. Because of course, you know, you just exist, you see the cherry blossoms. But we made a special trip down and like hung out with people, and it was so much fun. Like it was actually very sweet, and it made me like fall in love with Portland. Like I'm like, oh my God, we live here. And just that fact that everybody there, every age, every coolness factor. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Totally.
Like it wasn't just a bunch of like dorks like me. Like it was like cool, hip young people and like, you know what I mean? And then older darks and like whatever. And like children running around. But we were all just like, look at this. We brought I'm not recommending you do this, but this happened. We brought some champagne. It's like sparkling wine. It wasn't from champagne. We bought some sparkling wine, like in a kind of like a thermos. And by the time it got there, we were going to unlock it to drink it.
Oh.
It exploded, didn't it?
No, it sucked it in. It wouldn't open. It became like the sword of Excalibur. And so we literally asked everyone there if they could open it for us. And they were just like, no one was able to open it.
Did you ever get it open though?
It took, according to my partner, a month later, she just left it in the thing. And like all this like pressure needed to relieve itself. And then finally she opened it. And I was like, well, we learned what not to do next time, huh? And she's like, yeah, don't put it in a thermos. So I just, this is a PSA for anyone who's going to go there.
Don't do that.
Don't put it in a thermos. Well, my pick for this month, it's also in the waterfront area, Brian, but it's the Portland Saturday Market. So I feel like that is a thing that happens where people just assume it's happening all the time, but it goes away.
Yeah, me too.
And it's coming back. March is essentially the month where it kicks off all again. And what I didn't know about this, again, like we take this thing for granted, but it's been here since like 1973, which is crazy. And it was started by these women coming up from Eugene who basically were, you know, I'm not going to say Eugene's a bunch of hippies.
It kind of is though.
They were used to a vibe, let's put it that way. They were used to like a place where they can sell their wares and like artists and stuff. And they were just like, oh, Portland needs this. And they don't have it. And so they started kind of like closer to the Old Town, Chinatown area. And eventually it just kept getting so much bigger. The city was like, let's do this thing. And they gave them the waterfront. And it is what it is now, but it's been going on forever.
It just feels like a fun little environment every time you're like in the waterfront area and it's happening. It feels like a city that's actually alive and doing things.
Yeah, it kind of sucks you in, like even if you have no plans of hanging out there.
Yeah, because there's like street performers. And it's just one of those, it's like kind of like the cherry blossoms where I'm just like, yeah, I'll see it when I see it. Right. But if you actually go, you're just like, it's so much fun. You're like, oh, my city. It's so cute.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so I wanted to shout that out, but I also wanted to shout out something that actually was brought up last year, which is the Mississippi Street Mardi Gras is also happening.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's March 4th. It's coming up. And it's each year the Misty Crew of Nimbus hosts a free family-friendly Mardi Gras parade for everyone. That the parade starts at like 7 p.m. near Humboldt Street and proceeds down all of Mississippi Avenue to Cook Street, just past Fremont. Mississippi Street kind of just like becomes that theme that night. There's a lot of like Mardi Gras themed going ons on the street. And I just think it's really cute. And again, they try to make it super family friendly. So
a lot of Mardi Gras stuff isn't. But
yeah. Yeah, no one's taking their shirt off. I mean, that I know of, Brian. No one's going to like stop you. But like,
challenge accepted.
Oh, no.
Well, let's take a quick break here. And when we come back, we're going to be picking the best things to eat or drink this month.
If you weren't built for the cold, Abercrombie's kickoff to spring sale is just for you. I seriously cannot wait for rooftop season because that means I get to start wearing my A&F Mila dress all the time. She has pockets, and that makes her a favorite in my book. And speaking of favorites, Abercrombie's best-selling Scarlet Skirt is part of the sale too. Stack an extra 15% off with code SPRINGAF now through March 3rd. Offers valid in the US and Canada. Exclusions apply. See details online.
Chronic migraine is 15 or more headache days a month, each lasting 4 hours or more.
Botox, onabotulinum toxin A, prevents headaches in adults with chronic migraine before they start. It's not for those with 14 or fewer headache days a month. It prevents on average 8 to 9 headache days a month versus 6 to 7 for placebo.
Prescription Botox is injected by your doctor. Effects of Botox may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away, as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness can be signs of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Side effects may include allergic reactions, neck and injection site pain, fatigue, and headache. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Don't receive Botox if there's a skin infection. Tell your doctor your medical history, muscle or nerve conditions, including ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects.
Why wait? Ask your doctor, visit BotoxChronicMigraine.com, or call 1-800-44-BOTOX to learn more.
All right, what are you guys hoping to eat or drink in March?
Okay, so this place, it's called Nora. There's 2 locations, one on Alberta and one on Belmont. And I tried it a couple weeks ago, and I really want to go back this month because of how much I enjoyed it.
Okay.
And the interesting thing is that I'm not vegan, so I typically don't plug vegan spots. But this place, their menu is 100% vegan through and through, which is new for me. The owners are from southern Thailand, but the food is kind of just like a Pan-Asian fusion cuisine. And when I was there, I tried their pad siu and this volcano miso mala soup, which was very spicy. I should have learned from the name. But it was so tasty. There was like this coconut milk broth. There was Chinese broccoli, cilantro, and glass noodles inside with this big ball of like tempura fried veggies on top. It was incredible, even with how spicy it was. But they also had like the tastiest sweet corn sticky rice pudding for dessert. That just like blew my mind. But I really want to go back and try more dishes. I feel like it just like opened this door to vegan dining in a new way for me. And they have 2 locations, so I feel like it's a little bit more convenient if I'm hanging out in either area just to drop in. But have either of you heard about Nora?
No.
No.
But it looks fantastic. Like, you shared their Instagram account, and these photos look stunning.
Yeah, it's one of those places where the photos actually meet the real life expectation, which is so rare, I find, because people are just really good at photographing food these days. But when I went, I was like, okay, yeah, this actually looks like the way it looked online, and it tasted just as I expected it to. So
I'm excited to try it. But I gotta say, like, as a non-vegan, I have this stereotype that Asian eateries just make the best vegan food.
Yeah.
Like, whenever it's an American vegan interpretation of something, to me, it always feels like it's not less than, but it's like this, but different. But with like Asian food, like different, expressions of it, to me, there's just already such a deep culture in that way of making food that it feels like it's a natural extension of like, oh no, this is a vegan dish that is supposed to be vegan.
Yep.
They don't even advertise it as vegan. It's just, that's what it is.
Yeah, like a lot of African food is that way.
Yeah.
But they're just like, yeah, it's vegan because it's vegan. Like, geez, and it's just like, imagine that, guys. Spices. Who would have known?
There's flavor without meat.
Who would have known?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what about you, Brian?
Well, I am interested in checking out this new s'mores bar. Yes, I said s'mores bar in downtown Portland, started by Nico from Nico's Ice Cream, who I will fight just about anyone in Portland and say he makes the best ice cream in this city. So I am really excited to try this. They're making some traditional style s'mores, but they're also doing some kind of funky, fun things. And they're just keeping it real simple. They're not, I've seen these s'mores bars in other places where they're trying to make like these gargantuan things that are like the size of a dinner plate. It's not like that. It's just like really nice, local ingredients. So I can't remember exactly who they teamed up with, but they got someone to make the marshmallows. They're using like Moonstruck chocolate for the chocolate. So it's like, an elevated take on that thing that we kind of all grew up eating.
I do gotta say, Brian, so they moved into the place that used to make s'mores.
There was a s'mores bar there.
Because I love, not to take their shine away.
Totally.
But I'm just saying there was a s'mores bar there.
Yeah.
It did not survive.
I mean, it was there for a long time, it sounds like. I think it was called like 1927 S'mores Bar or something like that. I don't think it was from 1927, but it had been there a while. It closed recently, and Nico took the opportunity,
gotcha.
to fill that void. The reviews so far are really good. I know CityCast Portland's Hey Portland newsletter editor went there with her daughter recently and had a good time. And like the photos I've seen, the reviews I've seen in the Oregonian and everything, like it actually delivers.
Here's the deal. Everyday occurrence. I don't like marshmallows. I think they're stupid. But in a s'more, it's a different, that's a
100%.
different beast altogether. Yeah.
Nico, he's known for doing really simple things. Like his ice cream's really simple and he's keeping the s'mores really simple. And I just like that we maybe have this like budding dessert empire sprouting up in Portland. So
from Nico?
From Nico, yeah. I'm interested to see what he takes on next. Like, does he dive into donuts and
butter toffee? I just made that up. I don't know if that's a thing.
It might be. I feel like it's an English thing, right? Like, yeah. Well,
why not?
If he's listening, there's a new idea. Butter toffee.
Brian, I feel like our answers are weirdly closely related always, because here's my tip this month is that actually what I'm going to be doing is I want to do a Portland tour of all of our Asian bakeries. Because if you're listening to our daily outputs, yesterday's show is about the best bakeries in Portland. And our guest, she mentioned some Asian bakeries, but she was very specific about like the parameters that she was going to be talking about. And so because of that, a lot of like patisseries and a lot of other sweeter offerings weren't really mentioned. And as I was prepping for the episode, I was just like, oh my God, there are so many amazing Asian bakeries.
Yeah.
And like so many different styles, because Vietnam at one point was occupied by France. And so because of that, they have this like really deep tradition of French baking.
Yeah.
And so I think sometimes I prefer the Vietnamese French
100%.
Oh, I'm sorry, but like version of things, because it's lighter and it's crunchier. There's something about it where I'm like, I prefer this French bread here. So I started at first being like, okay, I'm gonna go to every French Vietnamese bakery, but then I like dove in and I was like, oh my God, there's just so many different. Yeah, and I was like, I'm not gonna ignore this because it's Chinese. That's rude. So I was just like, that's it. We're doing an all Asian tour, baby. So yeah, I've never been to Jeonju Patisserie.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I know.
Is one of the, just like regardless of what type of bakery, it's easily one of the best bakeries in Portland.
Oh, it's up for James Beard for best bakery. Yeah.
Their croissants are maybe the best croissants in the entire city. So
yeah, and please know that when I say I'm going to do this tour of Asia, I'm not trying to jail this like ethnicity into a baking. I'm just trying to limit myself because we have so many we have so many bakeries.
You gotta do a theme.
Yeah, and it's just like, I love a theme. Let's put it that way. I'm gay. I love a theme. So I'm gonna go and this is what we're doing. So I'm very excited about that. Do you guys have like a favorite like Asian bakery?
I don't. I feel like I should join this tour with you because I don't think I've been to a single Asian bakery since I've lived here.
Only if you fucking
You have to run to all these,
Julia. You have to run to everyone, Julia.
I think this tour is going to take you to the end of the year. There are so many spots.
Oh my God.
If you go several times a week, which is not the healthiest way.
If you actually did the thing you said you were going to do in the beginning of the year, which is have a bakery run, like have a literal bakery run, you could hit all of them.
I don't even think I could make it to all these places if I tried my hardest.
I hope that people, if you listen to us regularly, I didn't tell Julie she has to run because of like some sort of calorie restriction. I told her she has to run because she stated.
It's because I said I want to, and I still do.
Okay.
It's just taking some time. Have you seen the weather outside lately?
It's March, bud.
It's a tough time to be running outside. It's nearly dangerous, I would say.
It is slippery. Is
the texture perfect for running?
Texture is not perfect for running, Brian.
I don't want to end up like a meme, okay? That's not good for our show.
That's actually excellent for our show, Julia. We want you to go viral. All right. Well, thank you for your food picks. They're all delicious. Okay. Sorry. I feel like we need a drum roll because this is
I know.
weirdly the most important one. It's become like a competition.
It's because y'all are trying to beat John.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. What is your hack of the month? Julia, want to start?
Okay. So my sister was in town recently and she loves thrifting. And it made me realize how fun it is to walk around thrift and vintage stores on rainy days. And I also think the start of the spring season is the perfect time to get excited about like little wardrobe and home upgrades. And I think personally, at least for my style of like home decor, thrift stores are kind of the place to go for little knickknacks and like a cute chair, something fun you wouldn't usually buy. So looking ahead to the warmer weather to come, my hack this month is to take advantage of the remainder of the rainy season to do some cozy thrift shopping. And so I went to like 6 different secondhand shops in the past couple weeks. I usually don't shop like that. But I wanted to plug one store in particular that I didn't get to go to. It's called Memory Den. My partner has been raving about this place for weeks. And I've heard it's like Portland's ultimate thrift store because I looked into it. And it's not just a store, it's a whole vintage mall. So there are over 170 different local vendors, all in this one warehouse in the Central East Side on Southeast Stark.
I've been there. Yeah, I've been there.
I didn't know that's what it was called.
Yeah, a lot of folks either don't know anything about it or they've been and they don't know what it's called. But it's open from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. every day. And it's like 2 whole floors of different kinds of thrift shopping, all the different kinds you can imagine. But there's also like random little games and places to hang out. Like there's giant-sized board games you can play like chess and Connect 4. There's a whole library room and a pool room that you can hang out in while you're shopping, or you can even rent it out for events, which is really cool. But it just sounds wild. Like I feel like I could go there at the start of the day and not leave until it's dark outside.
There is enough to explore. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I'm thinking. Like maybe a little like spring outfit I can shop for. Just like ways to kind of spark that creativity for the new season.
Nice grippy running shoes.
Some running some well-worn running shoes.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I was there and it reminded me a lot of, we have a lot of antique malls where I grew up as well. And it just reminded me of that, except this one was like cool, you know, and it also felt like it wanted you to hang out.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they recently opened a bar in there. They do this cute little thing where they have like one item that's the item of the day. And it's like sitting up on this little pedestal at the front of the store. And it's like, it can be completely random. Like it's like a wooden duck or like a pot that has like the face of a man on it. Like just totally random, which I think is so cute. But
That's neat. Yeah.
yeah.
What about you, Brian? By the way, good hack, Julia.
That's
you.
really good. I like that. Also, thank you for teaching me the name of this place.
Yeah.
So if you are looking to do some yard work this spring, I really want to plug Chip Drop. It is a totally free way to get fresh mulch. And I mean a lot of mulch. So here's the thing to know about Chip Drop. Chip Drop works by you signing up, requesting a drop, and then they partner with arborists around the city, around the metro area. So when those arborists are out cutting down trees and grinding them up, mulching them up, rather than having to haul them all the way to some like third-party distribution place or whatever, they look at Chip Drop. They see, is there a place nearby? If there is, they come and they drop the entire truckload of chips at your house. So if you're planning to do just a little bit of gardening, maybe Chip Drop isn't for you. But if you have neighbors, if you have friends, I've definitely seen this in my neighborhood. People will go in on a Chip Drop and then like it's actually like several houses taking part of it.
That's so smart.
Yeah. And or if you want to do what we did, which is we killed our backyard and mulched the entire thing, we did it for free with Chip Drop. And we're planning on doing our front yard soon. And so we're probably going to do it. The key thing to know about Chip Drop, though, is it's not fast. You don't necessarily put in a request and get your giant truckload of chips in 2 days. Sometimes it can take several weeks. Sometimes it's fast. There is a way you can like cover the cost that the arborist has to pay to like access the list. That's how it's free for us, is arborists pay to use it. We don't pay to use it. But if you're willing to pay for it, that can kind of like shoot you to the top of the list. But it's a great way to save hundreds of dollars on mulch, because that stuff's expensive. And, you know, get it locally. Like, you don't need to get it from some, I don't know. Where do they even make mulch? Is it a mulch farm?
It's a mulch farm, Brian.
It's a mulch
There's a
farm.
mulch cow.
Yeah,
They milk
exactly.
it.
Yeah, they're
The
just
mulch
like
comes
raising
out.
it up on steroids and whatnot. So don't do that. Go to Chip Drop. Save yourself some money.
Nice vegan mulch.
Yeah, get that vegan mulch.
Yeah, stay away from the GMO mulch.
I actually love this. So I've had some work done in my backyard where we had to fell some trees because they were damaged.
Yeah.
And so I had chip mulch in my backyard forever. And it's going to happen again pretty soon because some other work I'm doing. And this is so good to know because now I'm actually going to reach out to them and be like, do you want this mulch?
Yeah. You want to take it?
Yeah. Or if anyone in St. John's wants mulch in the next few months, let me know because I'm going to be having a ton of it.
People go crazy for free mulch. I mean, Portland goes crazy for free anything.
It's true.
But a pile of mulch on the side of the street, like in front of your house, you'll actually see people that you've never spoken to before come up and ask if they can use your mulch.
So this is just a secret way to make friends is what you're saying.
Basically. Yeah.
That's great.
Oh my God.
It's a great tip.
Oh my God. Okay, so my hack, Brian, again, closely related to yours.
We're in sync.
What's going on, man? So planting season has begun. Yes, we live in a temperate area, so technically you could be planting all year long.
Mm-hmm.
But the official planting season has begun. And I wanted to give people a heads up that there are actual free gardening classes. And I'm saying this because I'm going to start looking at some of these gardening classes. And I wanted to invite other people. Like, you literally just have to Google, because I was looking for like some sort of resource that just has them all. But you just Google or go to your favorite nursery and they will have a free gardening class. And there's also some classes that are just very cheap that you can, go or whatever.
Oh.
And so this is really exciting to me. And to just know that like a lot of libraries have these types of things available to you. So just check it out, especially right now since it's like gardening season. Go check it out.
To start thinking about it.
Yeah. The Portland Nursery has a really cool schedule going on. Like, please, I just think it's so cool. That's all.
Dennis's
Yeah.
7Ds even does classes. And that is just, I don't know if y'all know about Dennis's 7Ds, the nursery that is literally named after the founder's 7 children who all had names that started with D. Yes.
I did not know about this.
But they're a really cool local nursery with locations all around the metro area, and they have some free classes too.
That's so cool.
Also, speaking of planting and gardening, Sparrowhawk Native Plants. This is a cool twice annual plant sale of native plants, so plants that are from this region, from this area.
Wow.
It doesn't operate the way that you're thinking of. They're not like a nursery with a physical location. What they do is they partner with like commercial nurseries who actually grow these things. And then they offer 2 seasons, so spring and fall. And their spring season, the ordering starts Sunday, March 2nd. So just after you will have listened to this episode. And it's a great way to get like really nice, good quality local native plants for not a lot of money. It's a lot cheaper than going to some other nurseries. And like, I love Portland Nursery, but Portland Nursery doesn't actually stock a lot of natives. So if you're trying to, grow a native landscape in your yard with plants that are actually, used to our weather patterns and don't need supplemental water, Sparrowhawk Native Plants is a great way to go about it.
Yeah, and it's good for the critters. Like, honestly, that's the thing that keeps me motivated to go native is that I look at my backyard and I'll just see every
So many
possible
things.
critter back there just enjoying it. It gets me so stoked. Like, I'll see all the bumblebees, I'll see the little birds making nest
Weird
places.
bugs.
And, oh my God, it's so cute.
Yeah. It's fun. It really does make a difference. So
I've even had hawks just hang out there because I've created an ecosystem for them to feed on.
I have a Cooper's hawk that sometimes sits in one of our trees, and it's really cool seeing it. And it's like, I know what it's doing. It's because there are all these birds and other things around here. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh, I'm hunting. That's a little sad.
I
But
know it's kind of so sad. I'm
it's
like,
also
get out
cool.
of here. But also, Mom, I'm taking pictures. Like,
Oh,
I'm like,
heck
look at
yeah.
this hawk. It's so big. Okay,
Yeah.
that's all. That's so cool. Yeah, I noticed that they're doing pop-ups.
yeah, so the way it works is you'll order starting Sunday, March 2nd. And then they have 4 pickup locations around the city. It changes based on, who's actually available that year. But it's, sometimes it'll be at like community centers or libraries, or the Leach Botanical Garden is hosted pickups. And then they will send you a date for, late April, early May, where you actually go pick up your plants. So you don't get them right away. You're ordering them online. Part of this is how they're able to offer the pretty reasonable prices is because there's no showing up and buying plants at the
Oh,
the pickup.
gotcha. Everything's online.
Yeah, so they know exactly how many to bring to those drop-offs.
I do want to say that the first pop-up is in St. John's. It's
there you go.
Friday, April 18th, which is part of the farmer's market, which our farmer's market is coming. I love our farmer's market.
Yeah.
It's so cute. Anyhow, that's great. Okay, so we're at that time where we think of all the things we listed and we essentially vote for our favorites, like what we would pick to do all together. And I want you to know that if you're listening, you're like, does it happen? Occasionally, yes, we do it all together. We do. We do the thing that we say we're going to do. Julia, do you have a favorite?
I see an obvious combo in this list, and I think it's to go to the Saturday market and check out the cherry blossoms. I feel like that's a really sweet little afternoon.
I'm hungry, so my vote was to go to Nora.
I was going to say, my vote was actually Nora. That looked really good.
I'm ready to go when you guys are.
It sounds like we could actually do a little bit of all of this. I'm not exactly sure where the locations are, but maybe you could go to Nora, the Saturday market, and the cherry blossom.
I see a route in my head.
And maybe hit an Asian bakery.
I think we could run it.
You know what? I think, Julia, I think you can run it.
Claudia and I will drive.
And I think Brian and I will be there to witness you running it.
As long as you drive right next to me the entire time.
We'll cheer you on.
Both Brian and I are just stuffing our faces with Asian goods.
Just croissants. And
we're like, you're doing a great job, honey.
Come on, you got this.
Well, you guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. And I hope everyone listening is getting some ideas to prepare and have the most excellent March. Because it's in you guys. It's in you.
You can do it.
You got this.
That's all for today here on CityCast Portland. Thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed the show, please share it with a friend, rate or leave us a review. It really does help us out. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more from around the city. Until then, see you at Slim's.